Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Perennial round of 16. We are here with our next matchup of the weekend and our closest winners bracket matchup in seeding. It is PEKORA Lovers versus Tofu Gang, seed 8 versus seed 9 in the winners bracket. And I think it's going to be a fairly good matchup between two teams who have had very, very solid performances so far in the bracket stage in the round of 32. My name is Dio. I'm going to be taking you through this match alongside Mavs. A good evening, Mavs.
Yeah, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you guys are. Good to be here. This is going to be a very, very close matchup. Excited to be here for this one. Some very solid rosters on either side, as we can see here. Rosters on the screen. If you weren't familiar with either of these teams from last weekend's matches, but some very, very solid rosters here. You know, maybe not the rosters that we're seeing at those top three positions. Some of those absolutely insane teams up there, but these are just still some very, very solid teams all around. Definitely teams that could cause upsets for some of those higher seeded teams in these earlier rounds. And they're going to be going up against each other though. As we can see, you know, some names here that stand out to me just off the bat. Players like Kinokon, Sigi, Invoker, Amelia, MCY4, Laplace, also known as Iger. Just off the, you know, just some players I'm seeing that stand out to me that I'm pretty familiar with myself. Players on the side of PEKORA Lovers, we got Musty, Tichi, Lever Russian, Hifkill, Gamer, Red Pixel, Haga. Pretty much majority of these players, pretty renowned tournament players, I would say. And I was just looking over some of these scores from last week, and I mean, these scores are no slouch. It's almost 3 mil on majority of these maps. So, you know, I'm expecting no slouch this weekend.
Yeah, I think both of their average team scores were pretty similar. You've got like 2.7 million average team score from Tofu Gang, 2.9 mil average team score from PEKORA Lovers. To talk about, 3 mil on almost every map. Well, their average team score was about 3 mil. So it makes sense you're seeing a lot of those higher scores from them. But I think one of the things to talk about with this team is, or with these teams, is kind of where their strengths lie, what sorts of maps both of them had better or worse times with, especially in qualifiers, as that quals pool is about the same difficulty as this round of 16 pool, and so you can kind of get pretty good data from that. Tofu Gang actually with slightly better map score than PEKORA Lovers, despite being a lower seed. It's only lower by 1 seed, so it does make sense. You can see kind of some weird stuff in that regard. Tofu Gang with better map scores on both hiddens, just barely a better map score on Hard Rock 1, and then some overall pretty solid scores on Double Time 1, Nomad 2, Nomad 3. Tofu Gang, however, with those good scores, PEKORA Lovers having kind of the opposite. They've got the Nomad 1 advantage, they've got the Nomad 4 advantage, and they've got Hard Rock 2 and DT2 advantage. So Tofu Gang with better overall scores from qualifiers is a little bit interesting. I think the one thing that we can say about the results here is, there's probably going to be some hidden favored scores for Tofu Gang. You can see already banning out the low approach rate hidden for PEKORA Lovers. And we're probably going to see Tofu Gang in turn ban out some of the more mechanics focused picks, your Nomad 1, your DT1, maybe the DT2 in this pool, things like that. And there they go, banning out the DT2. So yeah, that's kind of your setup for this match. Is you've got one team that's really strong on some of the speedier picks in the pool, some of the more aim focused mechanics picks in the pool, and PEKORA Lovers. And Tofu Gang definitely a lot better at some of the more gimmicky stuff, better at hidden, and yeah, I think it's going to be... I think we're going to probably see some traded picks at first, and then we'll be able to get some of the kind of contested picks, especially in that Hard Rock pool later on between these two teams.
Yeah, I'd agree with Tofu Gang being kind of favored on these more gimmicky maps, and PEKORA Lovers, being a bit more favored on maybe the left-handed, a bit of DT speed here. I mean, their DT speed score on the qualifier DT2, extremely good. So, that's to be expected, as you mentioned. But interestingly, from the qualifiers, both teams actually getting relatively, I wouldn't say low scores, but pretty relatively lower than some of the other maps in the pool on both Hiddens and the Hard Rock 2. Of course, like you mentioned, Tofu Gang being just a bit more comfortable on that Hidden, just overall, just better scores all round and accuracies. But, you know, both teams still getting decently high scores on a majority of these mechanics maps, and both getting pretty low scores on those Hiddens and that Hard Rock 2. Similarly, there are a couple outliers here and there, but that's a pretty interesting thing to note. We might see a lot of very close maps on some of these no mods. We will have to wait and see. But we are going to be going into Tofu Gang's pick, I believe. It's going to be in the No Mod 4.
It's actually kind of interesting. PEKORA lovers with a much better score on No Mod 4 in the qualifying round, having about a 300,000 score gap between the two teams. And they did both play No Mod 4, however, in round 32, and Tofu Gang had a 500,000 score gap there in their favor. So maybe saying, yeah, when it comes to these No Mod 4s in game, we're actually better than we were in qualifiers, and we'll be able to, we'll be able to play them better. We'll be able to win these picks in round. Might also just have been something to do with the map. You never know exactly what the comfort level is for these players on any particular map. It can be different from map to map, even if they're in the same style. So it might just be a matter of feeling a little bit better on this one. For the side of Tofu Gang, I think that they're going to have a pretty good time with this pick. It is kind of what you expect from No Mod 4 in 2022. Lots of high velocity sliders, lots of variable slider velocity, lots of really difficult to aim sliders and difficult to follow sliders all through the map. Also lots of things like slider streams, a couple of finger control sections, things like that in this map that do make it tricky beyond just having the, really tough to deal with sliders all through the map. So looking towards these players who are actually in right now to have really solid aim control and really solid slider reading and slider aim for these players. Everybody in on the side of Tofu Gang, however, looking very, very solid here. Leva Russian, Red Pixel, Maniwa, and Gamer actually in on blue side. And that actually should not be the case. We should probably get them to switch sides, as that is actually... they are on the wrong sides right now. So, Tofu Gang with MCY4, Ruto, LaPlus, and Sigi. And,
So the... Wait.
We've just got Tofu Gang on the left right now, and PEKORA.
Oh, I see,
right.
I
We'll
see,
go ahead
I
and,
see.
Swap them over at the end of this one.
Teams are backwards for the moment, but we will get there. But yeah, this No Mod 4, like you said, pretty familiar with this one from, I believe it was 4WC semifinals, and yeah, this is pretty hard to combo through. This first half is definitely the easier half of the map, as we can see evidently already, with a lot of huge combos going into it. Just Ryuto, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, I have no idea how to pronounce that. And Red Pixel have dropped their combos, as well as Leva Russian, but it's making a good recovery. So, combo advantage actually on the side of PEKORA lovers ever so slightly, but not anymore with that drop from MCY4.
Iggy also finding a drop now, and it's just the plus holding on to the combo compared to now both Maniwa and Gamer. Gamer does drop that, but you've got a reverse choke on Leva Russian and a pretty solid recovered combo for Red Pixel. And I would say that with those drops from Maniwa and Gamer, this is looking fine for PEKORA lovers, but it's honestly still looking pretty close because of those two combos from Leva Russian and Red Pixel. And, there are some recovery combos going on for MCY4 and Sigi. As long as they hold, they can maybe start to bring this back. But the repeated breaks from the side of PEKORA lovers with Naruto and Sigi both finding those breaks definitely makes it a bit more difficult. Leva Russian does trade a break with one of those players, however, and that was the biggest combo on the side of Tofu Gang, or on the side of PEKORA lovers. Excuse me, because teams are on the wrong side right now. Tofu Gang with the plus. No, actually not holding on to it. And now Red Pixel for the side of PEKORA lovers is going to finish it out and keep them in that lead by about 100,000 score, taking a break point on the first pick for Tofu Gang. So we'll go ahead and get that point swapped over to the side of PEKORA lovers. since they were the ones who actually won that pick. And we'll go ahead and get the teams swapped for the next pick. Referee is already aware, and we will be getting them switched around here. Really solid way to start it off, though, for PEKORA lovers. And this is kind of what you expect when you have, flip-flopping score leads between rounds, right? One team slightly better in qualifiers, one team slightly better in round of 32. Well, probably means that sort of map is going to be pretty close. And for Tofu Gang, that means a close first pick that could have gone either way. Had one of them held just a little bit longer, had one of the members of PEKORA lovers broken a bit earlier or broken more often, could have gone in their favor, but not to be on the day, and that is a rough way to start it off, and it is the trouble with picking some of those closer maps out of the gate. PEKORA lovers will be having none of that, however, going for Double Time 3, very in line with the bans that we see from Tofu Gang so far, and with the scores that we've seen throughout the tournament so far from them as well.
And it's gonna be the DT3 pick now from PEKORA lovers. The Bandmate Spirit. This is it's pretty straightforward speed pick. Excuse me. A little bit of finger control intertwined in here, but nothing too out of the ordinary. Just pretty much a lot of quints and triples, and some doubles with that finger control, like I mentioned. Some longer streams in here too, but not too many to speak of. If we have any fourth player syndromes on either side with the speed, which I doubt with these rosters, but if we do, it will be very evident on those longer streams that come into the start of the key eyes, if I remember correctly. But like we mentioned before, just that going into these left-handed maps, pretty much straight away, straight into that DT3, and we hoping to abuse that one against Tofu Gang. After coming off that break point, it's definitely a good idea to go for a strong pick as well right after. So DT3, probably one of their stronger picks, of course. We mentioned Tofu Gang's score on the DT2 in qualifiers, not very great in comparison to PEKORA lovers, over 3 million, I believe. So this is something that looks very strong for them on paper, and I'm pretty confident they'll be able to take this one home unless we see maybe some very unfortunate breaks from PEKORA lovers early.
Hopefully we'll be getting Leverushin and Haga into the map soon as well, so that we can see everybody getting in there. Force them to play the map that they signed up for here. But yeah, like you said, no real breaks early on, and there shouldn't be any breaks in this intro section. This is a little bit easier, actually. It does really serve as an intro to the map in this case. We've been talking about PEKORA lovers as being favored on speed. This is still a pretty good speed roster from Tofu Gang. Invoker, Konkon, Ruto, and Sigi is still a really scary roster on speed. And you can see that in the accuracies about even between the two teams. Haga with the first break just finding a miss in this map, just misaiming. No problems with the speed, obviously, for Haga. Invoker matching that early break, actually, and dropping some accuracy alongside it. So is going to give combo lead over to the side of PEKORA lovers. Also a slight act lead now that those FCs are, dropped accuracy for Tofu Gang. Sigi not quite able to match up to Leverushin. Invoker not quite the same accuracy as Haga. Everybody else about the same accuracy, however, hovering that 95-96. And there goes Sigi's FC for Tofu Gang. And now, just like that, halfway through, we've got 2 breaks for Tofu Gang and 3 full combos left up for PEKORA lovers, looking very, very solid for this team.
Yeah, I was starting to look doable there for Tofu Gang, but now the score lead is just going to rocket over to PEKORA lovers with that break from Sigi, and there goes Ryoto as well. So that's going to be 3 FCs still for PEKORA lovers, and a very, very strong recovery combo from Haga as they move into this last quarter of the map, and they're all just looking way too strong. Accuracy on Leverushin as well at 98.5%, extremely impressive, well above, I was going to say well above everyone in the lobby, but excuse me, Haga actually at over 99 with that 700 combo. So very huge accolades from those 2 players, extremely impressive stuff. No one on the side of Tofu Gang really over 97, so I think that goes to show the slight comfort difference on those speed and more left-hand focused maps. But those 3 FCs here for PEKORA Lovers going to be looking to close these ones out, and a huge recovery combo from Haga. This is incredible stuff from them. Over a 4 million team score on the round of 16 speed pick. 4.1 million with 2 FCs and a reverse choke, I believe, from Tichi, unless he missed right at the end. I didn't quite catch that. And a immensely good recovery combo from Haga there. An S rank on the side of Tofu Gang here. Sigi, unfortunate slider wreck for him, but wouldn't have made the difference, unfortunately. And Kinikon as well, with a choke right at the end. So still some very good scores on the side of Tofu Gang.
Yeah, I think it's easy to look at the massive score lead and say, like, oh yeah, that was a completely dominant pick. They had a couple of people who were very, very close to finishing those full combos on the side of Tofu Gang. And I think if they had finished those full combos, this was a very, very, very close map. But unfortunately for them, just finding a couple breaks here and there that make it not quite as close as it maybe actually was. So hopefully we do see some of that potential come out on something maybe a little bit lower BPM, maybe a little bit more focused on flow aim, which we do have in the Nomad 5 and Nomad 2 picks in this pool. Kind of depends maybe what PEKORA Lovers actually decides to go with as their next pick, or maybe they go with the DT1 and we see some of the aim players come out for Tofu Gang. Definitely no shortage of those on either team. Give me Nomad 3 as the next pick for Tofu Gang, and contrary to what we saw on Nomad 4, with it kind of being a flip-flop between rounds, we've only got qualifiers to go off for this pick, but it is a map that Tofu Gang does have an on-paper advantage on. They had a better qualifier score on Nomad 3 by about 300k, largely off the back of a 780k score from Sigi, the man himself, popping off in qualifiers, and their best performer by a little bit of a margin during qualifiers. Going in on 8 maps, getting like 900k average score during the qualifiers, so very, very solid run from him. And this is one of the maps where he did find that pop-off. Obviously a different actual map here, Wise Man no Tema, the Nomad 3 in round of 16, and a map that I think mirrors a lot of other alt maps nowadays, kind of a lot of flow patterns into some weird snap patterns, especially during the Ki times in this map. And so you're going to get a lot of similar sorts of patterning as any other alt map that you find nowadays, just because of how wide the breadth of patterning in this map can be. I think that does favor the team that's going to be more consistent overall on alt and on aim control, especially with this map being 3.5 minutes long. So players like Sigi, who did find those pop-offs earlier on, players like MCY4, who were able to put together pretty solid scores as well on this sort of map, are going to be the ones to watch out for on the side of Tofu Gang. And on the side of PEKORA Lovers, I'm really looking at players like Leva Russian to do well on this. He was the top scorer for them in qualifiers. Also looking at Red Pixel, somebody who's actually very, very good at alt, very, very good at tech, but did not play the qualifiers for PEKORA Lovers. So definitely looking towards Red Pixel to pop off on this map.
Yeah, look, if there was a way I could describe this type of Nomad 3, this one specifically, this is just like a 500k map. There is so many funny patterns in here, like just throughout, and a lot of weird overlaps that can really catch you off guard, especially if like you haven't played the map through a few times. Maybe, you know, if you've only played it a few days ago and you kind of forgotten some of these weird overlaps where it's kind of like 3 notes into a slider, we're already seeing some of them. Very easy to get caught off and kind of misread. And then we move into those KIs and some of the spacing on some of the alt patterns, as well as those squares before the KIs. Very, very easy to trip up on. So looking for some hero performances, like you mentioned, some players to look out for specifically, but looking for, you know, maybe an FC or 2 to come out from either side to hopefully pull themselves over the line for their team. Break there from Leva Russian as we move towards the Ki now, as well as Game are going to be following up as well. We've got 2 breaks on the side of Tofu Gang, Sigi and Kinokon trading that. MCY4 breaking early on in the map, making a nice recovery. But PEKORA Lovers with a very slight combo lead. Accuracy's pretty even across the board, a lot of 98s, couple 99s in there.
I think it really says a lot that while you were talking about this map being a 500k map, we saw like 5 people break on the intro. just not at all able to hold on to the combo for either team. Just everybody finding early breaks on this map. It's like, okay, yeah, definitely a 500k map. We do still have, like you said, a little bit of a combo lead for PEKORA lovers, but with that break from Lever Russian, I think it's never mind, not in the favor of Tofu Gang, as Konko finds a break as well. Matching combos for the supporting players between Gamer and Sigi, it's really coming down to the slight combo lead on the FC over the reverse choke from MCY4, and Konko finding so many repeated breaks during this middle section here, just not able to put together the combo, and now Sigi finding the break on the supporting combo as well. MCY4 dropping the FC, and now it's only Laplace holding on for Tofu Gang. Hifko and Red Pixel both holding the FCs for PEKORA lovers over halfway through in this map. And Red Pixel on 99 as well. Laplace on 99.65 right now as well. Is kind of ridiculous accuracy, but all for naught as the double FC no longer stands. Hifko finding the break there 2/3 of the way through. It's just the supporting combo for Gamer, though, still going to be combo advantage for PEKORA lovers at this point. And we really need to see the break for Red Pixel for the combo to come back over to Tofu Gang and for the score to come back over to their side.
Yeah, we still got about a quarter of the map left. There is time here, but it needs to happen soon. And that break from Kinokon is not going to do any favors for Tofu Gang, as the score is just slightly... There goes Gamer, so that's a big combo gone for PEKORA lovers, but with Red Pixel holding this FC, I don't think there's really enough in the tank for Tofu Gang. This is an incredible performance from Laplace, I want to point out, also known as Iger. Oh, no, why did I say anything? I was going to say, these 99+% on No Mod 3s, this isn't something I'm used to seeing from Iger. Very, very high accuracy from him, so good to see maybe he's improved his act game a little bit. Red Pixel holding the sole FC in the lobby now. They've done more than enough. PEKORA lovers alongside Red Pixel to pull that one through. Very, very impressive FC from him. Very close FC from Laplace. It is actually just the slider break. And yeah, what do you know? A lot of around 500Ks. A couple undercuts, but 400 to 500K seems to be the name of the game on this one for a lot of players. Pretty much everyone in the lobby, except for the two players on either side that had those hero performances for their team.
And this is just a very, very strong showing from PEKORA lovers out of the gate. I mean, even if you're comparing, not the top scores, ignore the two scores from Red Pixel and the Plus, you've still got score advantage on basically everybody. Two 500K scores for PEKORA lovers, whereas you only have the one for Tofu Gang, still gives them score advantage just on their supporting scores. So, I mean, this is a win for PEKORA lovers kind of across the board. Now they're just going to go into aim mechanics instead of speed. Going to leave up the No Mod 5, going to leave up the No Mod 2, which actually I think might be a good pick for Tofu Gang as well, depending on how warmed up their roster is for this match. But going into now Hard Rock 1 and just saying, yeah, we're going to beat you on another different type of map after now winning 3 in a row on tech, on ult, and on speed. We're going to beat you on aim. This is the Hard Rock aim consistency map. Rather spiky, this pick, especially near the end of the map. Lots of really high spacing jumps near the end of the map and right around halfway, right after we crest that halfway mark in the map. And so those couple of diff spikes really decide this pick. If you have a lot of players who miss on that halfway diff spike, your run is probably over on this map. So hitting that spike in particular, very, very important for either of these teams. And I'm hoping that these players are at least aware of that diff spike, even if they miss the ending. Hitting that diff spike is probably enough to win your team the map. And so really hoping that's what we see from Tofu Gang on this pick. They've got a lot of really good players for aim on this roster. I mean, this is actually almost the same roster. Konko swapping back in, I believe, for this map. I don't believe he was in for No Mod 3, but the other three players staying in for this one on the side of Tofu Gang.
Yeah, this is an interesting pick. Like you mentioned, PEKORA Love is pretty much beating out Tofu Gang on 3 different skill sets entirely. And then PEKORA lovers go, yeah, let's switch it up even, again. Let's go Hard Rock 1. So now just going raw aim mechanics. It's interesting. You would, being in this position, you'd assume, oh, let's pick something that worked for us already. But, I mean, they're just feeling confident on their aim, I guess. They're going to go right into that at Hard Rock 1. I mean, I'm looking at these qualifier results as well, and both teams had very, very similar scores on the Hard Rock 1. It was only 20k dips, so, you know, this maybe could work out in Tofu Gang's favor if they're feeling it on the aim today. We'll have to see. Obviously, we haven't seen any real aim maps be played yet, so this could really go either way. Early on, we're seeing no slack, everyone holding onto those FCs. A lot of 99s across the board here. Pretty big AC advantage for Tofu Gang early. They've already mustered up about a 40k score lead, but not too much that will matter. This is a pretty long map.
For me, this is just a really important map for Tofu Gang to win, right? I mean, if they lose this, they are down 4-0. They would have the next pick, but they would be down 2 break points. It would be match point. They just need to win 4 in a row even to force the tiebreaker. And I think your mental going into the second round of bans is just so poor if you are down 0-4. We have not seen a team come back from that in the round of 32 or round of 16 so far. The worst margin we've seen a team come back from is this 3-0. And so this break from Hifkill early on, actually right about halfway for PEKORA lovers, very, very good for Tofu Gang. And I believe we are going to get one of those diff spikes coming up soon. We've seen mostly consistency, stream aim, and jump aim. Kinokon trading a break with Gamer going to be there for Tofu Gang. And yeah, you called it, 3-way reset on Teachy Gamer and Hifkill. It's Konko Kinokon matching one of the breaks, but that is 3 FCs now for Tofu Gang, and that's that middle spike that I was talking about. 3 of them hitting it for Tofu Gang, still on the triple full combo, and that is going to do so much for their score as they get a lot of basically free combo before now we get to the ending spike in the last quarter.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we said, right? Like, they're mixing it up again, going for a different skill set, the 4th, like, different skill set to be played in the match, and it's just not going to work out for them, as Tofu Gang were feeling the Hard Rock 1 today, I guess, or maybe PEKORA lovers weren't. But with that 3-way FC, they are looking rather strong as they get into the last quarter of the map now. Pretty much no turning back for PEKORA lovers. I'm pretty sure this one is going to be done and dusted for them. Tofu Gang.
And if you're a member of Tofu Gang during that break, you see 2 other people full comboing, you see 500k score lead, and your nerves just evaporate. You have no nerves after that, because you know no matter what happens, you already won this map. So I think we're going to see MCY4 and Sigi probably finish out these full combos with that in mind, just because there are no nerves on the game at this point. They're going to be completely fine hitting this stiff spike, and they're going to close it out with, at this point, a 700,000 or more score lead for Tofu Gang.
Oh, hate to see this for Lapis. Another break right at near the end of the map, twice in a row now. He's at very near FC's 800k scores, but that is a very, very impressive performance from Tofu Gang. 3 near FCs and a 600k. I mean, the bottom score on the side of Tofu Gang here, beating out everyone on PEKORA lovers except wait, excuse me? Wait, what am I talking about? I'm sorry. The bottom score on Tofu Gang. I don't know what I'm talking about. I think I went to say something and then I just
plus at least beating out everybody besides the FC from Maniwa, but
yes, I believe that's what I meant to say.
There we go.
But yeah, Maniwa coming in with the sole FC for PEKORA lovers, and yeah, Lapis beating out everyone else on the side of PEKORA lovers, even without that FC. So that was a very, very strong showing from Tofu Gang, and that's a very much needed point. That's a break point as well. So now they move into a pick of their own, and they're going to be going for that hidden 1. And it makes sense. They just won on aim. Let's go more aim. And this is a bit streamy, if I remember correctly, but nothing that should be an issue for Tofu Gang. It's not super stamina intensive.
Although we are doing bans right now, so that is not a pick.
Oh,
that is a ban.
Excuse me.
PEKORA lovers.
That is a ban.
That is a ban. And
is a ban.
yeah, if we remember the qualifier scores, Tofu Gang better on both hidden maps than PEKORA lovers, so not really too surprising to see them double ban hidden. And yeah, again, not very surprising at all. I think we're probably going to see a speed ban from Tofu Gang. That was kind of the biggest difference that we have seen so far on any of these maps, and I would be surprised to see them leave up something like the Nomad 5. DT1 definitely does not look all that intimidating after now winning Hard Rock 1 by a considerable margin. Same for Nomad 1. And I would not expect them to let Nomad 5 stay up after something like the DT3 did happen, and after they banned DT2 at the start of the match.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, I thought Tofu Gang were picking Hidden 1, but PEKORA Lovers actually banning it out, so that makes sense either way. As it would have been a very strong pick for Tofu Gang, of course, with those qualifier results on the hidden maps, and I mean, just in general, they're just a better hidden team. I think that's pretty evident from a lot of the statistics we're looking at, and even if you know the players, some of the players in Tofu Gang, very, very, very strong hidden players. And it is going to be the Nomad 5 ban from Tofu Gang, like you mentioned. That's the speed map gone, another left-hand map in the pool going to be gone. They're taking out that DT2 and that Nomad 5 after losing that DT3 as well. It makes a lot of sense. And, I mean, they're in a pretty alright spot now if they can get a strong pick on the board here. I'm not too sure what they could go for. I'm thinking after winning so maybe convincingly on that Hard Rock 1, the Nomad 1 is an option. You've got the Hard Rock 2 there if they want to lean into precision. DT1 as well. And it is going to be the Hard Rock 2 coming out. I mean, I think this is a pretty strong pick after winning that Hard Rock 1 so convincingly.
I can agree with this pick, I think. In the qualifiers, this is kind of what we were talking about earlier, where the Hard Rocks, based on the qualifier results, were both really contested maps. But I think based on what we have seen in this match, I definitely do like this map for Tofu Gang. Like you said, the Hard Rock 1 was really, really convincing. The Nomad 3 was close, right? It was not a... It was a win with a full combo over a choke and with better supporting scores over worse supporting scores for PEKORA Lovers. So it was a win across the board. But the overall score difference on that map wasn't incredible. It was 300k, which, you know, divide that over 4 members and you've only got about 75, 80k per member as a margin of victory, which is very, very small even in a 1v1. So the margin of victory for PEKORA Lovers on that Nomad 3 was not massive, even though it was, you know, kind of an across-the-board win for them. With that in mind, something like this Hard Rock 2, which really focuses in on the 1/3 aim control, on that kind of alt-style aim in those 1/3, and on really tough linear aim, wide-angle jumps in between those alt sections, I think can go very well for Tofu Gang, who have now found their first win not only on a Hard Rock map, but also on an aim map, and have had other close picks on the other aim control picks in this pool. So, yeah, I really do like this pick for Tofu Gang. We'll see if it ends up working out for them. MCY4, Invoker, LaPlus, and Sigi in for this one. Red Pixel, Maniwa, Lever Russian, and Tichi here to try and force match points.
Yeah, I mean, anything can really go wrong on the CS 6.5. I think it is one of those maps in the pool when you play it in a tournament setting where you can just die. And there goes Invoker and Laplas on the side of Tofu Gang. MCY4 with an early break, but making a recovery now. 4 big combos on the side of PEKORA Lovers, so they're starting off very strong on what appears to be a pretty short map, I would say, as we're already a third of the way through. There's a reset for Red Pixel, the first 2 drop on the side of PEKORA Lovers. And another reset from Invoker, so only 2 big combos on their side. They really need to see some more drops here from PEKORA Lovers if they want to start building up a bit of a score lead. It's already 150k as we're halfway through.
Oh, there's actually a double break now for PEKORA Lovers. Lever Russian and Tichi both finding those drops. So if we needed to see those breaks, that was a great time for them. And I was going to say, I'm waiting to see those linear aim patterns, the aim control on 1/4 aim, or 1/2 aim, excuse me, from PEKORA Lovers, because that's where they've been weakest so far, right? The 1/3 alt aim for Tofu Gang, maybe a little bit weaker than PEKORA Lovers based on the maps we've seen so far, but both Tichi and Lever Russian breaking on those just 1-2 jumps. Back and forth awkward aim patterns. And now I think we're going to get some more of that linear aim for either of these teams. Going into the last half of the map now. That 1/3 pattern breaks Maniwa. It also breaks Sigi, but the big combos for Tofu Gang still intact. MCY4 is still on that FC, and the plus does break that choke, but I don't think the combos from Red Pixel and Liver Russian will be enough. We are right at the end of the map, and that is going to be a successful pick for Tofu Gang. Just barely 100k up on that map, but it is enough, largely off the back of that full combo from MCY4 over the choke from Maniwa. That really making a lot of the difference for them.
Yeah, I mean, only 100k, but I mean, a point to point, they're going to be taking that one their way, and that's very much needed. Things start to look, they're starting to look pretty plausible for Tofu Gang. If PEKORA Lovers manage to take their next pick here, they are going to be at match point. Tofu Gang are going to have to win 3 straight to close this one out, so it would put PEKORA Lovers in a pretty good position to take this point, and they're going to go for a strong one. It's going to be the No Mod 2. But this isn't something I would say is guaranteed, not as much as something like the DT3 or the DT2. This No Mod 2 I think is a lot more up in the air, and this is something that Tofu Gang I think are very, very capable on. I mean, I'm looking at some of the players on their team, players like Kinecon, players like Sigi. These are players who can play streams.
Yeah, I'm really looking at Sigi and Rudo. Rudo did not play qualifiers, and he didn't have the chance to play it there. But in round of 32, he got 726,000 score on the No Mod 2 in round of 32. So very, very solid score for him. And I think with the really wonky flow aim that this map has, some of the more technical focused streams and flow aim that this pick does have, somebody like Rudo, who has the flow aim for last week's No Mod 2, is definitely somebody to look out for on this pick because of how similar the flow aim is on both of these. The BPM difference is definitely something to consider, and with that in mind, I think somebody like Kinecon definitely has a chance to do very, very well on this map. But you look at everybody who's in on this map, Invoker and Sigi both got 900k on the No Mod 2 in qualifiers. Rudo getting 726,000 on the No Mod 2 in round of 32. And this is a very scary roster for Tofu Gang on this No Mod 2. So definitely a little bit interested to see exactly why this was the pick for PEKORA Lovers, especially given that in qualifiers, Tofu Gang had the better No Mod 2 score. I think that this pick is very much a toss-up. Despite the very, very strong No Mod 2 members that we do see in for PEKORA Lovers right now. Red Pixel in particular, I think the one to watch out for on this team. Just infinite stamina, and so we'll only have to deal with that flow aim, which is a big component of this map. So if you lack stamina at all, it's going to be very tough to deal with. Unfortunately, early break coming out for both Red Pixel, Ruto, Sigi. 4 breaks early on this map as the flow aim just hits you right out of the gate with this one.
Yeah, this is very aim-intensive and tricky No Mod 2, and yeah, there goes Teachy as well, going to be getting a chain miss, dropping a lot of accuracies. This score is just not sitting still, it's really jumping all over the place. Another reset on the side of PEKORA Lovers. Lever Russian is gone, but so is Invoker, he trades. And wow, there's just chain misses everywhere. This is actually going to be sitting at a 100k lead for PEKORA Lovers as we get to the break. This is a very short map, 1 minute 39 seconds, so we are already halfway through, and this is still completely up in the air, could swing either way. But yeah, I mean, like, Tofu Gang looking better on No Mod 2 in those qualifiers, so this is an interesting pick. We'll have to see if they can kind of replicate that performance, as PEKORA Lovers are looking a bit stronger right now. They do have that combo lead. Another reset from Teachy. Kinecon going to be trading. There's Teachy again.
Yeah, but the breaks from Teachy really not mattering all too much. These big combos, the FC on Gamer, the reverse choke on Red Pixel, those are the ones that Tofu Gang really needs to find a drop from in order to win this pick. But with that break from Ruto, their own reverse choke gone now. It's just Invoker and Sigi with the big combos. There goes Red Pixel, but there goes everybody, and there goes the map. 400k up for PEKORA Lovers by the end of it, just about. And that is going to be the FC from Gamer to take them over the finish line alongside 780k from Red Pixel and a 600k score from Lever Russian. Higher score on Lever Russian than anybody on Tofu Gang besides Ruto, the only member to really find the pop-off there for them. So unfortunately for Tofu Gang, not able to replicate what we saw in the qualifiers, not able to replicate the good score that we saw from them in round of 32 either. And PEKORA Lovers more than comfortable on this sort of map with at least 3 members. Teachy, a little bit of 4th player syndrome on that map, not having the best of times, but doesn't really matter when the rest of your team just pops off on it and finds all very, very strong scores for you. Now up 4-2 for PEKORA Lovers with that match point.
That map is not easy. That is an extremely impressive FC from Gamer. I mean, Red Pixel coming close as well himself, but some very impressive scores from them. Some hero performances there to close it out for them. And yeah, I mean, it turned out to be a good pick, even with those statistics we went over about Tofu Gang doing pretty convincingly better on that No Mod 2 in the qualifiers. And I also was going to mention the only player who really underperformed in their qualifiers was MCY4 on the No Mod 2, and he wasn't even in for this. So I was looking a bit scared for PEKORA Lovers on that pick. I really thought that one very, very possibly could have gone the way of Tofu Gang, but they are going to be closing it out. They know their stuff. They felt good on the map. And I mean, hey, they performed pretty well. A little bit of fourth player syndrome like you mentioned, but they had the players for it to put up those big scores, and they did just that. And it's now going to be Tofu Gang's pick yet again. And this is a needed point as PEKORA Lovers reach match point. Tofu Gang looking to go up to 3, hopefully bring things to a tiebreaker. And it is going to be the free mod 2.
So this is free mod 2, another one of these aim picks in this map pool. I think maybe Tofu Gang going for this to force one of the members of PEKORA Lovers onto Hidden. They do also have, I mean, both of their wins have been on Hard Rock, and PEKORA Lovers has double banned Hidden. So I really like this free mod 2 pick, actually, from Tofu Gang. I think very correctly reading how this map has gone, saying, look, they've double banned Hidden, we've won Hard Rock twice in a row, let's just force them to take a mod and get them onto this free mod 2, which also happens to be an aim map, another sort of skill set that they've had a very good time on throughout this match. I think this is a really intelligent pick from Tofu Gang, and I'm really looking forward to see what they do on it. AR9, OD9, and CS4 for this map, really kind of a density check at 216 BPM with that Hidden. With a Hard Rock, really just kind of a mechanics check. There's not too much else to say about it. It's a little bit awkward in terms of the style of aim. One of those really old, I think 2012 Tofu maps from Lonate. But yeah, very, very awkward sort of a map. Something that Tofu Gang is completely fine with after what we saw on the Hard Rock 2. Wasn't the biggest margin of victory on Hard Rock 2, but it was still a win for them. And especially through the second half of the map where we saw more of that awkward wide angle jump aim rather than the 1/3 alt style aim. That's where they tended to shine for Tofu Gang. So again, I think that this map should go pretty well for them. We'll see if they do have enough gas in the tank to get them over the finish line for this one. They're not out of the woods yet for Tofu Gang, though. They are still down 4-2. They will need to win not only their own pick here, but the next pick from PEKORA Lovers just to force that tiebreaker. So a little bit more work to do for Tofu Gang, but it's been a solid comeback for them from down 3-0 now to, only down 4-2. Much better game state than that 3-0 that we saw earlier.
Yeah, we're actually going to see Amelia come in, I believe, for his first map. And he's, of course, going to be on that Hidden. We're going to be seeing a double Hard Rock on the side of Tofu Gang. Double Hard Rock as well from PEKORA Lovers. A couple players we haven't seen load in here yet. Get a quick refresh. Triple Hard Rock on the side of PEKORA Lovers, actually. Which, I mean, that's pretty expected. Double Hidden ban. They don't like Hidden. But like you mentioned, this is an extremely smart pick from Tofu Gang. They've won both the Hard Rocks. And PEKORA Lovers have double banned the Hidden, like you said. So, here, play Hidden, play Hard Rock, and we'll take you on. So, I mean, this is a good pick. I'd be surprised to see Tofu Gang not take this one. Hopefully I don't jinx them. But early break from MCY4, that's all there is to speak of so far. Everyone else holding pretty strong. I don't think that break will make too much of a difference in the grand scheme of things.
Assuming this pick works out, we'll have to see what the next pick from PEKORA Lovers is afterwards. But for now, yeah, we'll talk about Tofu Gang actually not having the best intro to this map. MCY4 on the reverse choke, CE missing about 300 combo in. And so pretty solid combo advantage for PEKORA Lovers, but we've yet to hit one of those Ki times. I think we're probably getting into one just about now. But everybody on PEKORA Lovers actually holding pretty solidly. Red Pixel the first to find a break there, as now Kong Kong Kinekon drops the third full combo for Tofu Gang. And the members of PEKORA Lovers going to see this. All three of their Hard Rock players still holding on to those FCs. Red Pixel, the only player on the Hidden to have breaken so far. broken
Oh.
so far. But there's Lever Russian going to be matching one of those breaks from Red Pixel. And so definitely a lot better of a game state now for Tofu Gang, and I think combo advantage on the side of Tofu Gang with the recent reset from Red Pixel and Lever Russian once again finding one of those misses. Emilia still on the full combo, MCY4 on the reverse choke, and then you've got a 300 combo support from Sigi. So I think this is ever so slight combo lead for Tofu Gang, but Squirrely just really not budging due to the earlier combo lead that they had. Kill now finding the under aim on that triple, gonna make this way easier for Tofu Gang to find the comeback, as Red Pixel now just finding so many resets one after the other. It's only Gamer left up for PEKORA lovers, as now Tofu Gang finally finding the consistency they needed to do well on this pick. There is the drop from Sigi, but it's really not going to matter with the recovery from Konkon Kinokon.
Yeah, Sigi finding a break, but there's just really not much combo on the side of PEKORA lovers, just Gamer.
Actually, Gamer missed. It's all gone.
Did he miss?
Missed right before the break. It's all gone.
Oh no, I did not see it. This is tragic.
It's
you missed the last note. Oh man. Well, I mean, Tofu Gang now pretty convincingly should close this one out. Only a quarter of the map left, and yeah, they've got 3 big combos. You know, the second lowest combo on the side of Tofu Gang here, still higher than the highest combo on the side of PEKORA lovers. So really, not much of a chance for them to get back into this pick as we get towards the last 8th of the map. Very ending here as we get a couple more resets on the board. Amelia and Gamer are going to be gone. MCY4 holding onto a very huge combo for Tofu Gang. I don't believe that is an FC. I think he missed right at the start of the map. So a reverse choke potentially for MCY4. Hopefully you can close this one out. About a 600k lead for them. So pretty convincing free mod 2 pick and a very smart pick from Tofu Gang. MCY4 closing out that reverse choke. Unfortunate, very slight miss of the FC, but very impressive score from him, and yeah, pretty high scores across the board for Tofu Gang. Nothing under 500k. Upwards of 700k on a lot of these scores. Pretty close for Kinokon, 690k there, 780 from Amelia, and that reverse choke from MCY4. So very, very good scores from them. Pretty much around 600, 500k on the side of PEKORA lovers. Red Pixel, slight underperformance as we saw him chain missing a lot in the middle section of that map. Going to be pulling out a 430k for his team, bottom scoring the lobby, but yeah, I mean, Tofu Gang just across the board, just better on each player. And they just had that bigger performance from MCY4 as well, kind of pulling them over the line.
Now that pick's over, we can take a look at the maps that are left in this pool, and I think PEKORA lovers is kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. They've got No Mod 1, Double Time 1, and Free Mod 1 left to choose from. No Mod 1 and DT 1 are not scary picks for Tofu Gang. We saw them win on Hard Rock 1, we've seen them win on Free Mod 2, which are both been aim-focused picks, and so I just don't think they're very scared of playing PEKORA lovers either on No Mod 1 or DT 1, which are both aim picks. Maybe the DT 1 a little bit scary just due to AR 10.3, but I don't think that should make too much of a difference with how simple the patterning is in that map. And then Free Mod 2, again, PEKORA lovers doesn't want to play free mods. Even with the style of map, which is, you know, very flow aim focused, structured flow aim in the verses, and then very kind of alt style, low BPM stream style flow aim in the KI times for that map. I don't know even if they want to pick that sort of map just because of the fact that it's in free mod, and they're going to be forced to go that triple hard rock once again on that pick and let Tofu Gang have mod advantage basically with, you know, how well they've been playing on all of the modded picks, winning both hard rocks and the only free mod to be picked so far. The only maps that Tofu Gang has lost have been in No Mod and Double Time. So I think we're probably going to see either a No Mod 1 or DT1. It is going to be DT1 from PEKORA lovers with the AR 10.3 aim map here.
Yeah, I think this was really their only option. I mean, none of these maps are really good picks for PEKORA lovers at this stage in the game, but I think DT1 was the best pick just because the only DT map that had been played so far was DT3, and they won it. They didn't win it super convincingly. I think it was about 400k or so, roughly. But, you know, they won the only DT map that was played. Yeah, DT1's nothing like DT3, but you're probably better off going for a DT1 over something like a No Mod 1 or the Free Mod 1 that you just got beaten on pretty damn convincingly. So, I mean, there's nothing really in this map that's going to speed cap Tofu Gang or stamina cap them. This is pretty much just raw DT aim with a couple bursts here and there, but, you know, it's maybe a slightly better option for PEKORA lovers over something like the No Mod 1 or the Free Mod 1. So we'll have to see where this one goes. I think with the way Tofu Gang's looking on aim this match, I definitely put this one in their favor. But, you know, I'm maybe thinking something like a 55-45. This definitely could still go the way of PEKORA lovers. Maybe a 60-40.
Yeah, this is a tough map to call. Like, all of the members of Tofu Gang are still fairly solid. We did see both of these teams play DT1 in round of 32, and it did go the way of PEKORA lovers by about 600,000, largely off the back of a double FC from Leverushin and Tichi, who of course are going to be in for this map as well. Red Pixel and Gamer also playing DT1 in round of 32, so exact same roster for PEKORA lovers. Meanwhile, for the side of Tofu Gang, I believe same roster for them as well. Invoker, Sigi, MCY4, and Ruto all in again for this one. And it was very, very close. Both supporting scores for both teams were right around that 700, 750k mark. And then the difference really coming from the top scores, chokes for both Sigi and MCY4, 950k and 800k respectively, versus the double FC from Leverushin and Tichi. So this is a map where the difference can be decided by whether or not you FC. That is how close it is between these two teams on DT1. And right out of the gate, we already have a bit of an advantage now for PEKORA lovers, as MCY4 and Ruto both find those chokes right at the start of the map. You can find a couple of misses there and give a slight combo lead over to PEKORA lovers, who have the on-paper advantage with this DT1 already. Now Invoker finding a third miss for Tofu Gang, and despite what we were talking about with this being a coin flip sort of map, it seems the coin has up tails for Tofu Gang, man. 4 misses already, as PEKORA lovers hitting the intro just fine. You know, the accuracy is not bad for Tofu Gang, but maybe some early shakes on this map that hopefully they can deal with into the middle. It has been a lot of early advantages for PEKORA lovers in some of these other aim maps as well, so I'm not super concerned for Tofu Gang, but they're gonna need to hit these middle sections, and it's just not happening for Sigi at the moment.
This is looking really bad already. I mean, we're not even halfway through the map, and they've managed to build up a 300k score lead. 400, sorry. Like, this is looking really bad for Tofu Gang, and you know, at this point, PEKORA lovers can drop 1 or 2 FCs, and if they pull through like 2 FCs, they're still gonna win this map, like, pretty convincingly. Yeah. I don't know, man. They've got Tofu Gang have got 2 decent combos now on the board. MCY4 has made a good recovery from the start, but every other player has braked again since the start of the map. This is. I think they've still got the 4-way. Is there really any chance now?
We just need to see a 4-way wipe. Like, we just need to see a 4-way wipe right now in this KI time. Otherwise, this match is over. And I just don't think it's going to happen. This is too big of a score lead. Already a million score up for PEKORA lovers on this map. And yeah, there's a DT multiplier. Yeah, it converts to about 800k or so with no mod. But it just doesn't matter. That's still a completely massive score lead. And yeah, this match is over. PEKORA lovers still 4-way full comboing this map over 3/4 of the way in. Just absolute domination on this last pick. And despite what we talked about with the aim maps going fairly well for Tofu Gang, it seems that does not extend to the double time aim. And while it was a very close match, it's going to be ended in dominant fashion from PEKORA lovers with the 4-way full combo going strong. No way, man.
Oh, there's absolutely no shot they pull out this 4-way. Someone has to miss, right? Nope. No one misses. 4.55 million score from PEKORA lovers. That's incredible. There is no way anyone tops that this week. Holy.
Yeah, 99% on both Leverushin and Gamer. Red Pixel and Tichi just filling up the rear there with the extra full combos that they missed out on in round of 32, saying, yeah, actually, round of 32, we underperformed. here's what we should look like on Double Time 1. It should be a 4-way full combo for us. It should be a guaranteed point every time. That is a very scary roster on DT1 for PEKORA lovers, and a very scary team to go up against in the winners quarterfinals now. Congratulations to them for advancing. Ended up being a much closer match than I think they would have liked with that 3-0 start. Of course, Tofu Gang putting up a very solid fight in the second half of the match, winning 3 points of their own, but not quite able to take it to that tiebreaker with the 4-way full combo and the dominant showing that we had from PEKORA lovers on that last pick.
Yeah, that was an incredible performance from PEKORA lovers on that DT1. They had 3 players sitting at about 99%, and they had one player there at about 97, but I mean, 3 players 99% FCs alongside that 97 FC. It's just, you know, when someone gets a 99+% on that DT1, like, it's just, it's still hard to do, even on a DT1, when you're looking at these longer maps that have bursts in them still. Just, that's incredibly impressive stuff from them, and I think that's probably going to be the top score for the weekend on that DT1. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad they went for that map, because if we saw them go for the No Mod 1 or Free Mod 1, I think that absolutely could have swung the way of Tofu Gang. So thankfully for them, going for the DT1, it was a smart choice, and I mean, they're going to close the match out very convincingly. That is going to be a GG for them, going to be advancing on through the winners bracket. This was a winners bracket match, if you weren't aware. Tofu Gang dropping on down to the lower bracket. They are not going to be eliminated from the tournament just yet, as they hopefully make a lower bracket run for themselves.